My last long-term relationship ended because we wanted to spice things up, and so we decided to open our relationship. We had been together for about 3 years at that point, and things were not that great. And so we had this idea like, oh, maybe if we add more people or get to explore things outside of what we're already doing, it will fix our relationship. This was probably one of the worst decisions that we could have made because within a couple months of trying this, I met someone who I really quickly fell in love with. And it wasn't because they were the perfect match for me. That relationship ended up being super toxic, but it was because they were giving me things in the intimate space that were so fulfilling in a way that I had never experienced before. It made me see very clearly some of the deficiencies in my relationship and how I was so not at all fulfilled and expressed and in pleasure in that relationship. And while this may not be the case for everyone that's opening their relationship, I see it happen so often that people are struggling with vulnerability and intimacy and just talking about intimacy. And so they add more people, or they try adding a third, or they open their relationship in hopes that that will add something that's missing. For us, it revealed so many of the cracks in our relationship that the relationship could not withstand the opening. I realized that in that relationship and in so many of the relationships I had previously where I cheated on partners, it was because I didn't know how to advocate for myself and what I needed in an intimate space. And so I became really bored and tired of just pleasing my partner all the time and
No,
not getting what I wanted.
no,
But I didn't know how to say what I actually wanted.
no.
This is why I care so much about empowering women, especially to speak up for what they want in bed and figuring out what that is, because there's a different level of depth and vulnerability that's available in relationship beyond the standard script of intimacy that we're given. And
Oh
becoming
my,
bored and getting in a rut and not having exploration and play and fulfillment in an intimate space in a relationship is the death of a relationship. Because if you're not in a relationship exploring each other in an intimate way and you want that relationship to work long term, I have to be honest with you, you just have a roommate. I would love to hear, what your experiences are with intimacy and struggling with this, with cheating, with open relationships, and yeah, comment below if you have any experience with some of these things.
First of all, look, this is what happens when you downplay sexual compatibility. Okay. A lot of times we we don't understand how major and how serious sexual compatibility is, meaning the chemistry, right? Like the attraction that you got to have. I mean, we're talking about a long-term relationship, right? We're talking about being, seeing, fucking, sucking, doing things with the same person for an extended period of time. So that means you gotta be attracted to them sexually. You understand? You have to have some type of baseline chemistry, attraction. You gotta want them and they gotta want you. And more importantly, see, a man must lead this charge too. You understand? A man must lead this charge, and the woman must want and desire to be led by that man, sexually and otherwise. You understand? This is why a masculine identity is so important, because when the woman decides that she wants to be with you, that is a part of her choice. That is a part of her decision. And see, a lot of times men don't want to lead in these situations. Like the modern male is lost these days, to be honest, right? The modern male he's busy compromising instead of sacrificing, right? The modern male wants to placate to the modern female and let her have all of these choices and have all of these different feelings. And see, the bottom line is this: you have to be a man that knows who you are. And with that knowledge of your identity, you find a woman who is actually compatible with that identity. with that leadership. And when I say leadership, I'm talking about leadership in the bedroom and otherwise, right? So when you tell her to get into the different position, when you tell her to put on that lingerie, when you whisper in her ear and give her instructions on what to do next, you know what I'm saying? When you tell her to meet you in the kitchen, when you tell her, hey, I want it on the stairs, when you say these things, right? She has to have a level of excitement in her that just wants to comply, that just wants to fulfill those requests. If she doesn't have that, then there's no real chemistry. This is why a man should lead in all situations, even in sex. It's too many magazine articles and different nuanced feminist ideologies and perspectives about, she's got all this, she's explaining all these different, the play and exploration. And listen, a woman wants to explore within the confines of the structure that is created by that man's identity. And if she doesn't want to do that, that means she's not sexually attracted to him. This is what happens when you let the woman compete in the structure of the hierarchy of the relationship, right? The man comes first and she follows that man. Now, I'm not saying for every woman to blindly follow every man. What I'm saying is to stop downplaying sexual chemistry and compatibility and find the man that actually sets off the woman's lust. A lot of times two people get with each other and they try to act like, well, sex is not that important. We're more advanced and more sophisticated than just the sex. And I'm saying sex is, if not more important, is just as important as the social factor, as the companionship factor, as all the other things that make you compatible. The sex is super important. You understand? And a lot of people, the truth is they don't completely have that, but they try. Like a lot of people, they try to make things work instead of finding a situation that actually works. Meaning, so you have a man that he has a certain identity. He has a certain direction about his life. He has a certain way that he expresses himself sexually. He has to find a woman that complies with that excitedly, not just complies with it because she don't want to be lonely, but she complies with it because she likes how he does shit. She likes the sound of his voice. She likes his stroke. She likes his body, his size, his passion, shit, the way he breathes, the way he smells, the way the weight of his body feels on top of her. She has to like all those things. You understand? If you're trying to make it work and then you open up your relationship thinking that, hey, I need to add some spice to my, like the fact that you were trying to add spice to your relationship in the first place that's the indicator. That lets you know that, look, either the relationship is over and y'all should just break up now, or there was never any spice to begin with in the damn relationship. But it was a truth that neither of you wanted to see because you were trying to make things work because, well, in your mind, you're trying to figure, hey, well, I'm more than just sex, right? I'm more than just the lust that I feel. And the bottom line is compatibility is a system. You understand? Compatibility is a system. And see, the thing is, a lot of us are, truth be told, we're not even focused on compatibility. We're focused on acceptance. You understand? We're focused on acceptance. So we're trying to find people to accept us instead of being exactly who we are and finding people where the puzzle piece fits. You understand what I'm saying? Finding that real compatibility instead of just finding someone to accept us. Like me being who I am, I'm not looking for anybody to accept me. I'm looking for compatibility. I'm looking for the shit to fit. I'm looking for excitement. I'm looking for, like I said, when I speak, when I lean in and I whisper in the ear and I tell her something, when I leave her a voice message, when I send her a text describing what I'm gonna do to her tonight, she is the vagina starts to drip immediately. You get what I'm saying? If you don't have that, then what you're really doing is you're lying to yourself. And here's the thing. So we have compatibility versus acceptance. So we also have sacrifice versus compromise. Now, here's the difference between sacrifice and compromise. A lot of people are willing to compromise to try to make things work with somebody who is not really that compatible with them, but Maybe they have some type of virtue. Maybe there are a couple of things that work. So you try to make it work. Look, if you're trying to make it work, you're compromising, both of you. And when you compromise, you don't get to be exactly who you are. But here's the thing with sacrifice. Sacrifice says, if it doesn't work, then we cut it off right now because it doesn't work. We don't need to make it work. Let's just stop the charade, stop the lies, stop the bullshit. Cut it off right now. Let's cut our losses and realize, hey, we're not compatible. It doesn't work. Let's not stay with each other for 3-4 years. And then when we realize that this shit is boring and neither of us is satisfied, we try to open up the relationship. And the reason why she was able to fall in love so quickly with somebody else and then the relationship ended up being toxic was because she never followed that man's lead in the first place. He never had any influence over her in the first place. She was never actually sexually attracted to him. There was no sexual chemistry in the first place. There were probably other things that made them want to try out the relationship, so to speak. Right. But the whole time she was probably sexually unsatisfied. Now, there's new relationship and new sexual energy. And sometimes that can carry things for a while. But the truth is that there wasn't any baseline compatibility. There has to be a baseline. And what I mean by that is there's a threshold where the both of you have a certain level of sexual compatibility and sexual chemistry where it's like, man, I could be attracted to this person from now until whenever. At the very least, sexually attracted to this person. You understand? And if you don't have that, then it doesn't really make any sense to move forward in the relationship, which is why, every relationship starts out as a F-buddy relationship. You got to. You understand? A lot of people love to front and fake, and these women love, I'm not here for no hookups, and I'm not doing this, and I'm not doing that. And you got to take me out on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dates before we have. Nah. If we ain't fucking by the second date, it really don't matter. Because if we ain't smashing by the second date, then that means you're not fiending for this dick. You understand what I'm saying? And if you're not fiending for this dick, then it don't make sense. It don't make sense for us to go on. This is why, guys, you got to sacrifice. You got to cut it off. Sometimes if you get bit by a snake, shit, before the venom goes to the rest of your arm, you got to chop off the arm. I seen that movie. Damn, what the fuck is the movie with Brad Pitt? Oh, World War Z, where the soldier chick got bit by the zombie. And Brad Pitt grabbed her machete and chopped her arm off because she got bit by her wrist. He chopped her arm off in the middle of the arm. And then he wrapped up the arm to save her life. That's sacrifice. Because it's either two things. You got to give up the arm and live, or turn into a zombie and die. You understand what I'm saying? Black or white. There's no compromise in this. When you start to compromise, you compromise everything about yourself. And then from that point on, you're basically living a lie. Because once you compromise your identity, then the question is, who are you? You understand? That's the thing. So guys, hope you got something from this video. It's your boy, Miles Cunningham. Make sure you check out masculineidentitymembership.com so you can understand who you are. And when you understand who you are, you can learn how to design the life you want, whether it be with these women, with your job, with whatever you want, career, money, whatever you want. Just get it done. Go to masculineidentitymembership.com and we'll get you started, man. All right. It's your boy, Miles Cunningham. Hope you're having a great day. Be good to yourself. And remember, the truth is inside you. Peace.